Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Stirring the Pot. We are back for the second half of our mock drafts. This is going to be an interesting one because we ended off on a fun one. I'm looking right at John Doucette over here because he had an interesting take that Carnell Tate was going to fall to 16.
Well, I mean, hey, you have to exercise some fantasy when doing these mock drafts. I'm allowed to have hope at this time of year from about February 20th to about September 1st when I'm allowed to have hope as a Jets fan. So I have to believe. You have to believe it to manifest. I mean, maybe something happens. I don't know. You never know. Maybe he has some Laramie Tunsil stuff happens. They fall 16. I mean, you never know.
Yeah, how far has that gotten, your team?
Nowhere.
So what you're saying is Carnell Tate's going to get caught with a bong on draft night.
No,
or a mask.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Quote unquote caught with a bomb.
Smoke mask, I think. It was something
He was
weird.
tanking.
He's telling you to smile. You're at Mr. Smiley.
Dude.
That's
If you get the reference.
Bro.
Yeah. It's an interesting movie if you've ever seen it. Let's go right into the picks in this one. Obviously, as always, I'm your host, Connor. And then we've got Dom, John, and RJ here with you guys today. As always, it's always a great day to be in the Daily Athenaeum building here in Morgantown. But I feel like I almost had to do a legal ID there. That felt weird.
You want to insert one
We're
now?
not listening to WWVU and you're into the moose.
That was not even close.
We also have a
we got a
sponsor
couple
now.
This is why we have a sheet.
You're listening to 91.7 FM, WWVU U92, The Moose.
Bang.
All right. Number 17, this is the Detroit Lions. I feel like there's a couple different ways you could go with this one. With this, I thought you could pair somebody explosive, somebody big, with Aiden Hutchinson. I went with Akeem Mesidor here. It's a little high than I've seen him get mocked, but I think he's a game wrecker.
Which order are we going? Are we going RJ? Are we going me?
No, just go clockwise with Connor like you usually do.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait. Last time we were just in a different podcast room. That's why
the
I'm
first
thinking
mock
that.
draft we've ever done from this studio.
Yeah,
I actually think so. I went with Spencer Fano. I feel like, is it Fano or Fanu?
It's Fano.
Fano, yeah, Spencer Fano. I feel like it'd be a good choice for the Lions. I mean, the way that they talk about him, like his pros, is that it's kind of like C.J. Allen to where he's a good communicator. He's good at making those pre-snap adjustments. And Detroit needs a guy on the line. I mean, they have a lot. They don't really have an immediate need, but just add another guy to the line to protect Jared Goff. It just be another useful resource right there. I mean, you could probably go with a running back in later rounds, even though what's Pacheco calling himself nowadays?
Pacheco's going to get...
It's Taz.
He's taking snaps
yeah,
on the
Taz.
offense.
Yeah. Okay.
If Tamir Gibbs ever gets hurt, Lions fans will turn on him. He'll be like the 9 of running backs. We're just going to get memed on the entire year. But, Dom, I am right with you. I have this snagging Spencer Fano. There's a big issue. They lost Taylor Decker this offseason, kind of a messy breakup for a kind of a guy who was very big on those lines for a while right there. They want to kick Sewell to left tackle, which I think will probably work out because he's a great athlete right there. So I am getting their new right tackle in Spencer Fano. He's a guy who put on some weight before the combine, a guy who kind of had some frame issues but kind of showed he bulked up 9 pounds before the combine to get ready and still clocked the second fastest 40 of all offensive linemen. He does kind of have a Will Campbell issue where he has short arms and might not stick a tackle with that. But even if he does, I mean, he said he's willing to play guard if he has to. So he'll find a role on this line pretty easily, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, John, you have an offensive lineman like that who can play both guard and tackle if necessary. I feel if Cleveland trades back, you might get this guy also. I also picked Spencer Fano for I almost said Cleveland Browns. The Detroit Lions at 17. I think really for Detroit, bolstering up that offensive line for Jared Goff. You want to get that offensive production back. You need to protect the quarterback. That was a problem last year for Detroit. I feel like they'll help get this issue fixed with Spencer Fano.
Wow, I think that's the first time I've been the graphic breaker.
I think it might
That's crazy. That's actually kind of crazy. 18 here is the Minnesota Vikings. This is basically where the middle of the NFC North goes. I have them taking a guy that they whiffed on a pick a couple years ago that we just went over with Lewis Seen. I have them taking Dylan Tiedemann from Oregon. I think they really, really need that kind of big safety presence, and he was so good under Dan Lanning. I think he's going to translate very well to that Kevin O'Connell-led team.
I went with a different safety as I already had the Oregon safety going somewhere else. I don't even want to try to say this guy's name, the Toledo safety.
Emmanuel McNeil Warren.
It's an easy name.
That's a pretty easy
Well,
Emmanuel McNeil
We're
Warren.
going to have to get to Max Ahai later, okay?
That is
he
way
just
off.
needs the Minnesota. Whenever you look at what they need, it's kind of strange. They need a center, which I'm not sure where they will get that in this draft. Question mark. Don't really know.
They might just go a year without a center.
Yeah, they could just do that and pick up some
4 offensive linemen.
Yeah, some other guy from off waivers. Who knows?
You can have their 2 guards put their
Probably
two
wouldn't
hands
make
together and
J.J.
snap the ball.
McCarthy that much worse as a seven.
No.
But Brian Flores does like his defense, and this guy is good against run defense specifically and filling those gaps as a safety. He's also good at dropping in the zone coverage, so kind of a guy that you can shuffle in and out of both coverage and having him go in to blitz, which Brian Flores, if you know him, he just likes to use people for multiple things. This guy seems like a good tool for that.
Yeah, Dom, I'm right with you. I have him going
God.
EMW too. I mean, I look at this player's tape and I see a guy who is a Brian Flores type player. He's a bigger safety at 6'4". He's going to guard tight ends in that defense. Brian Flores just loves guys who can create chaos in the football field. You saw that a lot last year. I mean, Isaiah Hodgins had a game where he had like 5 forced turnovers early in the season last year. This is a guy who's going to fit right into the kind of that mentality. He's great at the peanut punch, can force some fumbles right there, and as Don mentioned, kind of play a versatile role as a safety back there. And the reality is, Harrison Smith is not going to play forever. He is the ageless wonder right now, but I don't think he's got that many more years in him, so they're getting his long-term replacement right here at pick 18.
I thought he got cut.
Did he get cut?
Or it might have been a cut for like one of those restructured type of contract deals. Something along the line.
I think it was a restructure.
I think he's back, but he is getting older. And I also took Emmanuel McNeil-Warren out of Toledo. And really for me, what I look at in his game, I mean, look, third-team All-American, that really helps. Coming out of the Mid-American Conference, too. Quick little shout-out. He's quick, and he can defend the deep ball. And I think for Minnesota and that defense, your front is great. And guess what? You're going to have to force the quarterback throw long. That's where you have a safety like Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. I think it'd be an excellent pick for Minnesota.
This is really weird.
I broke the graphic twice
Connor's
in a
breaking
row.
the graphic twice.
I feel like
Well,
now
it's gonna flip the script now. Hey, John.
So I think me and Connor have the same pick.
I think we all do.
Do we all have the same pick?
For
At 19 for the Panthers. Who do you
Number
have?
19 is the Panthers. This is a
I feel like it's an obvious choice.
It's a weird year for the Panthers because they kind of have the flexibility to go for a bit of a luxury
They
pick.
addressed a lot of their needs in free agency. Linebacker,
and
edge
this,
rusher,
sense.
and this guy that I have going to him is about as luxury as it gets in the first round. I haven't taken Kenyon Sadiq out of Oregon. He's going to be phenomenal in that offense. I think giving Bryce Young that kind of flashy tight end target, like a Kyle Pitts kind of guy, is really going to help him get better.
I also want the same pick. And looking at, I did not know this, but in the combine, he actually broke a record for the fastest tight end. He ran a 4.39, and he's like 220, 230 pounds. He's
like
also got a
6'5"
good vertical, too. He's got all the tangibles to be. Basically, they wrote him out as his pros as being a receiver, like almost a like pro level receiver. Like that's like wide receiver 1 type of stats. But I mean, he's a good option. I mean, even though Tommy Tremble's great, he makes people tremble in their boots. I feel like you kind of need Kenyon Sadiq here to help him out.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah,
just
Connor's
a
not
good
breaking
line.
the graphic this time. I have Kenyon Sadiq going here. This guy is just a special athlete, as Don mentioned. The fastest tight end ever tested in Indianapolis. Actually, only 2 players have matched his combination of a sub 440 40-yard dash, a 40-inch vert, and 11-foot-plus broad jump at 220 pounds or heavier. Those 2 guys are DK Metcalf and Nick Emanwari. That's good company to be in, and he also had the production to kind of match that at Oregon. He's a true passing game weapon. I mean, as you mentioned, the Panthers kind of have a lot of their needs filled, and this guy can be, like, I think one of the best tight ends in the league. I love this guy a lot. He is just truly a physical outlier, and I mean, with him, Warren, and Bowers in the last 3 draft class, I mean, and Colston Loveland, too. You can throw him in. He had a good rookie year after a slow start. That's a new golden age of tight ends coming up in the NFL.
Yeah, I also had Kenyon Sadiq going to the Carolina Panthers at 19. You had him having 560 receiving yards, and you had 8 total touchdowns for him through the – I almost said through the air, but receiving. I think really for the Carolina Panthers, something that can really influence that offense and make them a lot better is going to be a playmaking tight end. That's exactly what Sadiq can be. I mean, obviously, if you want to bulk him up and get him to that tight end style, honestly, that can take some time with strength and conditioning, but that can be changeable. And I think for the Carolina Panthers, this would be a great selection because for Bryce Young, what more could you want than a really good tight end? And I think that's exactly what Sadiq will be in the NFL.
All right, it's our first consensus of the second half of this mock draft. Number 20. There's a couple different ways you could go with this one. It's the Dallas Cowboys, their second pick in the first round. Obviously, first up, I had them taking Jermod McCoy at 12. I think a couple different people here also had them taking a secondary guy. Not exactly sure if it was Jermod. But there's another glaring need on that defense, and it's edge rusher. Now, I think they love their guys out of Auburn for this one. I think they go Keldrick Falk in this one. I think it's a bit of a reach personally, but it's Jerry Jones. He's going to fall asleep on draft night.
I kind of doubled down for Dallas here, and I had them taking another defensive person. Now, I had them taking Caden McDonald here. Now, this is a little bit of a reach at this pick. He should be a little bit higher up, but I feel like Dallas does need a little bit of D-line help. You're looking at me all
traded
confused.
the first for Quinnen Williams.
Just got Quinnen Williams, and they play a 3-4.
Wait. So whose pick is this?
Dallas.
That's what I said.
Yeah, they just traded for Quinnen Williams, and they run a 3-4.
You know, fine. Quinnen Williams, you can play edge. It's fine. You can rush the
edge,
pass.
put him on
Fine.
the edge.
Like, is that today news?
No,
That's 6 months ago news.
That's not 6.
that's like a couple months ago. Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, screw you, PFF. Then I don't know what else to say.
Did they say that they needed an interior defensive lineman? That's crazy.
That's malpractice on PFF's part.
I guess you could just say.
I mean, they just laid off like half their employees. So we're starting to see that already.
Yeah.
It's depth, I guess.
All right, let's at least
depth.
talk about Caden McDonald.
He's a good player.
He is.
Caden McDonald
He is a good player.
You're getting a good player.
not
described
terrible
as a roadblock.
Oh.
So
That's a good way to
basically,
describe
you
him.
throw him at the line, he's
He'll get it.
a problem.
Yeah.
Is he going to go to Dallas? Now that I know that, probably not. Did not consider the Quinnen Williams thing. Thank you, PFF. Thank you.
You know
They
what
told me, smile, you're Mr. Smileys, and caught me in the act.
Imagine Caden McDonald versus Jets Mekhi Becton. That's like stoppable force
Fat
meets
on
movable
fat.
object.
Let me just
He's
confirm this
fat.
real quick.
Word on the street is he'll eat the table. You know who won't eat the
Zion.
table? Dylan Thieneman out of Oregon safety, who's who I have him taking right here because he's a athletic guy right there. He's a versatile DB who can kind of be the quarterback of the defense for Dallas. And I also, with Connor, had him taking Jamal McCoy last pick. That's two guys we're going to play day one in your secondary, and that's going to kind of help just revamp this defense all around, which was a disaster for him last year.
That's an incredible transition.
Yeah.
You know who won't eat the table?
Dylan Thieneman.
My lord. I want to make sure. Okay, I had Jamal McCoy at 12 for Dallas. So with this 20th selection, I went with the edge rushers. I went with Akeem Messidor here out of Miami. I think really if he can fall to this Dallas pick at 20, don't know if that's going to happen. I've been hearing a lot of things from Schefter that he might be rising up some boards. But I think if he falls to Dallas at 20, you get another edge rusher. Defense was a major problem. Getting pressure at the quarterback, major problem. That fixes Dallas defense. You get a guy in the secondary with the 12th pick and a guy at the defensive end position at 20. It's a pretty good first round.
All right, 21. This is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, there's a lot of people saying they might go for a quarterback here. I did not say they went for a quarterback. I don't think John is obviously going to have his propaganda about how he thinks Will Howard is a smokescreen.
That's rage bait.
I
all that.
do not
Rage
have
bait,
Ty
rage bait.
Simpson going.
I
with this
think
pick.
Mike McCarthy likes Will Howard.
I don't think he does.
Yeah, there he is.
But-
There it is. Like I just
There
said.
it is, right there. Dallas needs a defensive lineman.
That's crazy. That's actually crazy. Yeah, I buy the fact that Mike McCarthy likes Will Howard. I think they're going to at least try it out for a year, maybe experiment for a year or two with him. But I have the Steelers going with an offensive lineman. I have them going with a riser from the Big 12. There's a lot of different ways you could pronounce this. I'm going to go with the way that I think
Thank you for doing this first, by the way.
if you watch Leicester City, shout out to the Premier League. They're in like League One now. Kelechi Iheanacho is one of their players, and it's spelled very similar to this. It's Max Iheanacher, I think is how you spell it, or Iheanacher. Not exactly sure, but one thing I am sure about is that he can guard, and he's really good at it.
Yeah, for this pick, I came up with this perfect story that everybody in the draft just left Carnell Tate.
Fernando Mendoza falls to 21.
No, I went with a tackle here. I went with the boring pick, the safe pick. Now, the Steelers have hosted Penn State's guard. I kind of think that we're going to trade up for him, but no trades in ours. I did, and he was mocked a little bit higher, but a lot of teams, it was either Spencer Fano or him. I went with Monroe Freeland from Georgia. I feel like we're not going to get him at 21. I feel like another team will easily take him. But there's so many tackles in the first that could go first round that I don't really think, Steelers no matter what are going to take a tackle. those who say we need a wide receiver, we already got 2 in free agency. You could easily get a guy in the second round. I don't feel like you need to take 1 here. That's way too much. That's like kind of Bears offense right there, that it's prove it year 1. I feel like the tackle spot is just the safe pick, and then you could go – there's not any immediate needs, so it's fine.
Yeah, I would really say if you were talking pre-combine, I think he would probably fall exactly there, but he's a combine riser.
Who, Freeland?
A lot of
He's like
teams
13.
A lot of teams have been looking at him, and I know Cleveland's looking at him at 6. It's highest potential, but you never know.
I think he
never
was
know.
there our first
This is a
two.
good range to an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to go Ty Simpson, but I kind of feel like, usually at this time of year, you're going to hear that a quarterback prospect is rising, like you saw Jackson Dart last year or J.J. McCarthy a couple years ago. You kind of hear them kind of get a bit more buzz that time. You're not really hearing of Ty Simpson, so I think it's not going to go in the first round. Really a good chance the Steelers to kind of solidify their offensive line right here. I have them going Max Iannaccio as well. Kind of a similar arc to Jordan Mailata, a guy who did not play football till very late in his life. Only started in JUCO, but boy, can he move really well for his size right there. Obviously, he's the kind of guy who's going to need a bit more time to develop because of that late start. He was flagged a lot at ASU last year, but what I like about this fit for the Steelers and him is that he's not going to need to kind of play right away and be the anchor right away. He can kind of sit back and learn and kind of just grow into that role a bit more naturally. And if that happens, I mean, with him, Frazier, Fatanu, that's your O-line in the future right there for whoever your quarterback is, whether it's Will Howard or someone in the future. But that's a great offensive line to kind of boat your team around right there. I think that's a great way for Mike McCarthy to start his Steelers tenure.
I'm going to be that guy. I don't care. There's a lot of things. Now, see, there was news today that Drew Aller has visited the Pittsburgh Steelers. I did not go that route.
Everybody visits the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's okay. So did Malik Willis.
But if you're ramping up a position that you thought was already covered, usually that means you're preparing. And I think that's smart from Pittsburgh to do. I think they're going to bite the bait and take Ty Simpson if Arizona doesn't trade up in front of him and do it first, because Ty Simpson visited Arizona today as well. I mean, really, look, you have to be safe regardless. I mean, do you trust Will Howard that much? I don't entirely know. I mean, there's obviously you guys saying Mike McCarthy, trusting him a lot. There's just not enough quality, there's not enough play time to really have a full, I guess, justified opinion on him. But so if you're really concerned at QB, you're going to bite the bullet. I mean, you'll trust that he'll kind of transition into a quarterback in the NFL that you can have a long time. I mean, Pittsburgh's done that in the first round before with Roethlisberger. What was that, 04? I think it was, 2004 draft. Because it was the Eli Manning. Yeah, 2004. I'm not going to say he's Big Ben, don't get me wrong, but if you think he's the guy, you take him at 21.
I just got word that Leve is going to be in Fortnite. I don't know how to feel about that.
Who's that?
You don't know ball. You don't know ball.
There's Triple T in Fortnite, so
Yeah.
at this point, I don't really
Yeah.
know.
I think it's weird for them not to be in Fortnite at this point. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. All right. On to 22. I thought I'd just mention that, by the way. That was one of the weirdest things I've seen all day. Number 22 is the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, there's a position that I think they could shore up a little more. Obviously, they had Tier Tart kind of break out this year, but I think they need to go interior line to shore that up. That's what Harbaugh likes to do. You saw it at Michigan. He did so well with that really solidified defensive line. And I think this is a guy that was being mocked inside the top 15 at the start of the season. I'm going to go with Peter Woods out of Clemson. I think that's a bit of a reach considering his stock right now, but I think Peter Woods would definitely shore up that line. He's a game wrecker when he's on.
I gave them a different guy from Clemson, but on the O-line side, I gave them Blake Miller. They just need, honestly, you just need whatever offensive line help you need, because their win, the way that they would win against the D-line or their win percentage was not great. Justin Herbert would always get sacked. The playoff game was a great example of that. I mean, they couldn't get anything done. It looked like a complete cluster bomb. It was a mess. You need to fix the line. Give the if-man his line. If he had an O-line, well, you give him the O-line. Then we'll find the next problem. Maybe it'll finally be on him this time if it's the O-line that gets fixed.
Shout out Spooky Dookie.
Then, Joe Alt-Delete, as I said before, he just deletes himself from the season and gets an injury
He
or
had
several.
one injury this year. He's
Oh,
a
no.
pretty healthy guy.
Oh, if only.
If I had an offensive line.
I think you're going to go
Wait,
guard
but-
on. Oh, you're still talking?
And then they said, "Oh wait, he's not doing anything." Exactly. That's why they said if.
That's why you said if. And the giant Mike Vrabel just steps on him.
I think they're going to go guard on day 2. There are a lot of good day 2 guard prospects in this class. So I have him going receiver here, and another kind of sneaky need for him because Keenan Allen's getting up there in age. I'm going Omar Cooper right here. He's a guy who's really hard to bring down player, can kind of play anywhere you kind of want on that receiver kind of front, whether you want to be the slot guy or the X guy. I'll probably have to be more of a Z type because Ladd McConkey has the slot. He has great contested catch abilities. You saw at Indiana, he caught so many balls just really shouldn't have caught last year from Mendoza. And he also just kind of run blocks his behind off, which is just, I think it's a trait Jim Harbaugh is going to admire a lot in that kind of Chargers offense right there. They're getting the kind of guy who's going to pair with Ladd McConkey, kind of be your receiver duo of the future, and hopefully if man can maybe win some playoff games right here.
Yeah, John, we went the right position, but different player. I had him taking Denzel Boston out of Washington. Look, his junior season was incredible, better than his 2024, and even one less game. He scored 2 more touchdowns. He had 11 in 2025. I think really what you're looking at, like another red zone target for Justin Herbert, and you're building around that offensive line. You want another receiver. I think really you can get offensive line day 2 as well in the draft. I think you can go there. You talked about the guards. I think to go Denzel Boston. Sure up, you have another good receiver for Justin Herbert, and then the sky's the limit for this Chargers offense.
Speaking of Denzel Boston, that's who I have going to the Eagles at 23. I think now this is just a prediction. You know how A.J. Brown got traded on one of the draft days? I think he's also going to get traded on draft day
I think he's
this
there.
year.
I think he's there.
No. Howie's sick of him. I'm hearing a lot of rumblings.
But he
from
wins
people in Florida.
games. He wins some games.
No, he doesn't.
He should win them
Devontae
games.
Smith wins them
Have
games.
you not watched Waiver Tango? He was in the jail segment for weeks.
Well, that's a Kevin Patullo issue.
Devontae Smith wins them games. And I think pairing him with a guy like a jump ball receiver like Denzel Boston, he wins in the air. He wins. And that's the kind of wide receiver that Jalen Hurts loves to play with. You saw him play with CeeDee Lamb in college. They were electric together. That was insane. So I think getting Denzel Boston into that wide receiver core is going to do numbers for the Eagles' pass attack.
Well, honestly, you could go with a lot of – the Eagles need a lot because their team was gutted. Or it's more their full – well, not gutted,
really.
but like
The secondary
some
was
good
gutted.
some good key pieces. Good key pieces were lost here, and because of contract needs. And that's kind of just how they work. They draft really well. That's probably why Dallas Goedert might be on his way out. Or did he get extended?
He got extended.
He got extended how much?
They paid
Or like
both
few
of
years.
It was both their tight
I
ends.
think it was 2 years. Yeah, I know they re-signed Grant Calcaterra too.
They do have a good cap in how they work things. I went with an edge rusher here. I went with Akeem Mesidor. I feel like this would be a solid option.
Very
I mean,
Eagles thing, 'cause
they-
it's evil.
they lost Jalen Phillips, was a
Them and
big
the
contributor
Chiefs
for
always
them.
get someone to fall to them every year. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean they weren't going to pay Jalen Phillips $30 million over 4 years.
No, Panthers would.
Um,
Panthers would,
Well,
but
they have the
Supply and
ability.
demand.
They have the ability to.
That'd be a good pick for them. The Eagles going offensive line here. I think they give it one more year on the A.J. Brown thing before calling it quits. I think they're going to try it one more year, but the offensive line has some issues. I mean, Lane Johnson's getting up there in age. Consider retirement this year, ends up coming back. Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson both had some injury problems over the past couple years. You kind of need a guy who can kind of play guard right away, but maybe move to tackle down the line. Caden Proctor is that guy. They've done good with offensive linemen in the past, or maybe a bit bigger. Might have to play inside a guard. I think Caden Proctor can be a day-one guard starter for them this year and eventually maybe take that place at tackle as he develops. Obviously, it's a new regime there because Jeff Stoutland's no longer the O-line coach. Huge loss. We're going to hope you can kind of continue that great tradition of offensive lineman you have in Philadelphia. But Caden Proctor, I mean, if you got to keep this line functional, that's the only way this team wins. And when it was less functional last year, they were a worse team. So Caden Proctor hopefully help get him back to kind of being that dominant force we saw 2 years ago in that Super Bowl run.
Yeah, for the Eagles, I went wide receiver. If I'm Howie Roseman, I don't know how long you can take the A.J. Brown experience. There's just too much going on. There's too much rumblings. Something's going to happen at some point, whether that be post-June 1st or not due to money. I think you're going to take Omar Cooper Jr. here. I think you have an explosive receiver who can get you the yards, especially the big-time catches. He led the Big Ten last season, or was in 2024 with yards per reception, 21.2. And then in 2025, I mean, you have, I believe it was 12 touchdowns? No, 13, even more. I'm telling you, he's the real deal. I think if Philadelphia gets him, you have in a sense, an A.J. Brown replacement, but also at a much cheaper cost.
All right, 24, the Cleveland Browns. Now, again, there's a couple different ways you could go with it. Usually the worst teams, there's a lot of different positions you could pick at these picks. But number 24, I have them going with a guy that's going to continue to haunt my favorite teams. He haunted Penn State this year by making that wonder catch in the back of the end zone. I don't know how that he stayed in bounds. That is one of the greatest senses or controls of your center of gravity I think I've ever seen. So the Browns are going to get a dog in Omar Cooper at 24. I think he's going to be a steal. I think he has potential to be the second best, if not one of the best receivers in this
Jets
class.
love him, apparently. I can
He's
see why.
so good.
He might warrant Debo Samuel.
Who'd you say?
It gets on a lot.
Omar Cooper.
He might warrant Debo Samuel comp, which is rare for receivers.
I think
like
there's-
everybody
he-
gets comp Debo Samuel.
I think when it's all said and done, he's going to rival Carnell Tate in this class. He's that good.
He makes me mad.
He also makes me mad because he just did like a Houdini catch to beat Penn State. Penn State almost ruined Indiana's undefeated season.
No, he's not that good.
If
He's
it
kind of
wasn't for him.
washed. Because he's from Indiana.
Bro.
Everything. The overinflation is crazy. But for Cleveland, I was bored. Actually, I had the same two picks I had in my original mock draft. I have you guys just taking Caden Proctor. You could take another tackle here. I feel like though addressing like the need of taking Carnell Tate in the top 10 would be pretty useful, and addressing the wide receiver spot. But you need a guy to protect Shador or whichever quarterback you guys are going to roll out.
As of this current moment, it's Shadur, but I don't know how long it's going to last.
I mean, you got your receiver, you got your X factor, Carnell Tate. You maybe still have Jerry Jeudy, who has fumble
We do.
problems, and
oh yeah.
good running back room, which you resolved in 1 year. Good tight end. Now it's time to give Shadur more time to make those plays.
Yeah, it feels like tackle and receiver are the Browns' 2 draft picks. Whatever order you kind of see as fit. I haven't gone tackle earlier. Monroe Freeling. I haven't gone receiver now. Denzel Boston. I just mentioned they kind of need an X guy, the big physical guy, which they really haven't had in a while. Denzel Boston is that guy. He's a perimeter guy, true perimeter threat out of Washington right there. He's going to block low on your skin. I think Monken's going to like him a lot. And the Browns just get some much needed help for their young quarterback, whoever it may be.
Yeah, really for the Browns pick, like Johnny Boulette or somebody mentioned, I think Connie mentioned it, there's multiple ways you can go about it. It's receiver, tackle, what way do you pick them? I think if the Browns trade down, take their tackle early, you get a guy like Omar Cooper, that'd be incredible. But in my situation, I took Carnell at 6, so I have Caden Proctor out of Alabama going here. His stock kind of dropped, and then it re-rose up as of recent. I think if the Browns can get him at 24, I believe that could be a steal. I think he has the tangibles to potentially replace DeJuan Jones, depending on how, I guess, Cleveland goes about the situation and his health, which has been a big factor and question mark. I think getting a guy like Proctor, you can beef up the offensive line. That's what you have to do if you're Cleveland. It's one of these picks, and I have him going to that 24.
All right. Yeah, I think about 99% of mock drafts have the Browns going tackle wide receiver, and it just doesn't matter what order. That's exactly what I had. I had them taking Monroe Freeling at 6, and then Omar Cooper at 24. And you could honestly go with Carnell Tate and Caden Proctor. Either way, with that formula, I don't think the Browns are missing in the first round.
Well, they want to trade back, apparently. That's pretty heavily rumored.
From 6 or 24?
It's from 6.
No.
Well-
No.
Well, what's probably going to happen, and I'm just going to say this now, on April 15th, it's going to be a trade down with Dallas. They're going to try and get up and get Caleb Downs or Sonny Styles if he's somehow still available. It really just depends on the trade package that Dallas will offer. I know there's a lot of teams saving on 2027 draft as being the big draft. It really just depends on will Dallas pull the trigger with the trade. And for Cleveland at 12, that's probably where you're most likely going to see a tackle at that range, when you'll probably reach on a guy and get your top prospect, who isn't obviously Francis Mauigoa. But it really just depends on if the trade goes through.
Yeah, it does depend on that. 25 to the Chicago Bears. I think this one personally is a no-brainer. They just lost Jaquan Brisker in free agency. You need to shore up that position. This team doesn't have a whole lot of holes, but safety is now one of them. I think they go Emmanuel McNeil-Warren out of Toledo. I think he goes right into that Jaquan Brisker role. He's probably not going to be as good coming out of the gate. It's kind of a toss-up with those MAC guys, but I think he's got potential to be a real star safety in this league.
I give them a interesting pick. As you said, Connor, they don't really have that many spots that they need to really address. So I gave them a little bit of a – is he a controversial character in saying that Caleb Banks should go here?
He's kind of –
I like it because of his build. And like I said for my previous mock draft, like they said, he's basically the size of Darnell Washington, but he's on the D-line.
He's a big guy.
Big strong guy.
And he had a good
He
year
is
before
big.
this year. Like
He did.
he's had-
Oh wait,
He's
no,
proven.
it was the injury concern because he
Did
had
he
three.
break-
He had
was it some of
three.
his
Three injuries on his foot.
Yes, he did.
in the
Well, I
past
think one
year.
was more recent too.
One was this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Bears, you're at a good spot where you could take a gamble with this pick, and if this ends up panning out, this guy can end up being your starter for the next 2 years. So I feel like this would be a good pick for them to maybe take a gamble on.
Also, D-line depth is something that gets
It's very
underrated
important.
a lot,
Especially in the best division of football.
So, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, the Bears last year really relied heavily on creating turnovers in their defense, which I don't think is a very sustainable strategy long term, especially because they lost two of their kind of playmakers back there in Brisker and Deshaun Wright. So I have been getting a guy who's going to kind of help revamp their defense, make it a bit more of a normal good defense rather than kind of a turnover machine. And that's a guy Connor likes a lot in Zion Young.
Oh, yeah.
True edge setter out of Mizzou, strong
yeah.
against the run, just brings constant pressure to the quarterback. That's the kind of guy you take for your defense. Just kind of hope he's your kind of your build around guy. Might not finish the most plays, but just kind of guy who's gonna have that edge set in the division from now on. I think once you get that kind of helps make your defense kind of just a bit more sustainable long term as you kind of build around Caleb Williams in this kind of new era for the Bears.
That pressure will win you games. I think me and Connor switched picks from 18 and 25 with the safeties. I took Dylan Thieneman out of Oregon here. You could honestly flip them between Minnesota and Chicago because really those are the two teams, I guess, zoning in on safety in this draft. I think really for me it was all about potential for Thieneman in this Chicago defense. I think for his career, it's better for him to go to Chicago. I mean, we've seen what this defense has already done in the secondary. It's been incredible. Seen with even, what was it? Kevin Byard was also in the secondary at one
Yes,
point
he
as
was.
well.
Is he still there or is he gone?
I think he left to New England.
It is still
They
Eddie
brought
Jackson.
in Kobe Bryant.
Eddie Jackson, I think, is still there, too.
Is he? No way.
I think he is.
really?
You gotta be
He
kidding.
might have just left.
But I think either way, when you look at the safety position, getting one of those younger guys, I know
I
also
think he's a
we talked
corner
about-
now.
Yeah, because I think it was. I think he did
Wow.
switch. That does make sense.
He's still there?
Let's take a look.
Is he?
No, he's not there.
Oh,
He isn't?
okay.
He was a Raven 2024 most recently.
Okay. All right.
So that
It must have
was-
been Byard that I was thinking about.
Probably
then.
Byard.
Yeah,
They're,
so-
they're
yeah.
both
That
kind of
sounds about
Byard
right.
left.
Yeah.
Byard left this offseason to reunite with Vrabel.
That's
You
what
kind
it
of
was.
fill that position with Dylan Thieneman. I think for Chicago, it'd be a great pick.
Yeah. By the way, Bengals picking up Kyle Duggar is a great pickup. That's so
Bold.
cool.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. But number 26, we can go a little faster through these ones. I like a lot of these prospects that I have in the late picks here. 26 was a toss-up for me. It was the same position. Didn't know which one I wanted to go with. I like one of them more, but I went with the one I think they're going to go with. I have them taking Avion Terrell here. I think that it's kind of a legacy hire kind of deal. Obviously, A.J. Terrell is one of the top corners in the NFL right now. Both went to Clemson, and his little brother Avion coming up into the league. I think he's going to make an immediate impact on a secondary in Buffalo that desperately needs it.
I mean, honestly, if you pick anything defense here, you can't really go wrong. So I went with Peter Woods. I feel like I like your pick, too, of Avion Terrell, Connor. I already had him going to the Jets, unfortunately. But Peter Woods, they need some D-line help. Really, they just need to build a roster around Josh Allen here. Like, come on. You're starting to get the pieces together. You got DJ Moore on the offense. You're getting him that weapon that people have complained about because their committee wasn't working in wide receiver. Now you got to work on the defense because the defense doesn't really get that many turnovers. They got a little bit better over the past few years. They had some game-winning plays by, like, for example, Tre'Davious White against the Jaguars in the playoffs. Good game, but you need some more pieces. Peter Woods would be a good addition.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many of you guys knew this, but the Bills have not re-signed Matt Milano. He's a free agent right now. I was
Why?
kind of surprised by in my research because he was kind of just been the heart and soul of that defense for a while right now. As a Jets fan, please don't resign him. I hate Matt Milano. I hope he plays somewhere else the rest of his career. But I have him going a guy who I think can kind of replace that role. I kind of reminds me of Matt Milano and Jacob Rodriguez. You watch this guy in college in the Heisman voting, I think pretty easily, generates turnovers at an incredibly high clip. He's not the most well-rounded player, but I think that turnover prowess he has is going to just come and just kind of fill that void immediately for the Bills right there. And I think they just need some kind of guy who can make plays on defense. I think he'll help with that.
Yeah, for Buffalo, I also went defensive. I went more defensive line. That's where I had Caden McDonald going out of Ohio State. I think really one of those record type of linemen that you could use for Buffalo. And really what that can create with that pressure is not as too much work on the cornerbacks, and that really helps them as well in their development. You get the pressure, you get the guy with Caden McDonald at 26.
John, I got so excited because I thought you were going to pick one of my darlings in
Anthony
this draft.
Hill?
I thought you were going to pick Anthony
I was
Hill.
between those two. They're both good players.
I
Both of them is gonna be good.
think whoever gets Anthony Hill is getting a steal because I don't think he's going to go in the first round, unfortunately. I did have him in the first mock draft.
He's a day 2 pick.
He's a day 2 pick, but he's a very solid day 2 pick. At 27. Now, this is one of my favorite picks in this draft. We have the successor to Trent, and it's going to be Caden Proctor. I think that's going to be really fun to see him learn behind somebody as prowess in the league as a former 99 overall offensive tackle. That's going to be a fun one to watch, and I think San Fran is going to knock it out of the park with this one.
I feel like San Fran, they should go receiver here. I'm changing the receiver off of last draft. I'm going to have them take Denzel Boston. Now, people say, well, but, they got Mike Evans. He'll be good with Juwan Jennings. Yeah, sure. Mike Evans, the most injury-prone receiver to the most
Juwan Jennings isn't even there anymore.
first team.
He's
not?
He's a free agent still.
He's a free agent?
He's still a free agent.
Yeah, and then you have Brendan Ayuk, who just despawned one day. Don't know why.
He's
Actually, I
somewhere
do
right
know
now.
why. He's got some character concerns in the club somewhere. And there's some video that's not our sponsor, even though I wish we would have a sponsor.
My bad.
Yes.
Oops.
I was
I
looking.
thought it was a studio issue again.
Sponsored by
No.
John Sausage that he cooks at the apartment that sets off the smoke detectors. Ain't that right, John?
Sorry.
Get your smoke detectors. Check them. Get
Sorry,
your batteries.
guys. I was looking at Anthony Hill's combine performance, and it just started playing some random video.
Well, it's kind of funny because 2 years ago, when we did our first mock drafts, the Niners going tackle to replace Trent Williams. It is 2 years later. Trent Williams is 2 years older, and I will still have the Niners going tackle to replace Trent Williams. I'm hoping I'm a bit less stubborn this time, and that maybe it'll actually, because it seems like it's kind of coming to an impasse right now. If he wants a new contract, not sure if he's going to get one right there, but I have him going Blake Miller. True pass protecting tackle right there. Going to keep Brock Purdy upright. If he can develop in the run game behind Trent Williams, he could be a true Kyle Shanahan tackle and just going to help keep the strong offensive line they've had going for a while.
I went defense for the 49ers. I mean, it was a really banged-up unit last year. I think if you can add another edge rusher, this defense can be a lot better. I took T.J. Parker here out of Clemson. He'd play on that left side, in my opinion, rather than C.J. West. He really only had a sack last season. I think if you replace him with T.J. Parker, you're getting more production there on that left side of the defensive line. Have him going T.J. Parker.
This is attack of the Cadence for me. Number 28, the Houston Texans. I think something that they need to shore up for their future is their interior defensive line. Obviously, Will Anderson's going to be a major factor in that defense for years and years to come, but they need to shore up that interior defensive line. You could go O-line. They have been working on it in free agency a little bit. I think they're going to go O-line in the later rounds, but I don't think they pass up on a guy like Cade McDonald here. I think he's going to fit that system very well. D'Amico's going to fall in love with him quick, and I think that's going to be a dangerous 1-2 punch on one side with him and Will Anderson.
For the Texans, I went with D lineman. I went with Christian Miller from Georgia. You need a little bit of help on that D line, younger guys, but you need just talent to help them out. Now, their defense is really good. This is kind of a confusing team to me because, it's, again, not any immediate needs, but at the same time, you got a lot of guys on injury. You're hiring all these vet running backs like you usually do. And there's not really any, I feel like the D-line is where you got to focus on.
I actually went with offensive line right here. They got Taylor to play one guard spot. They're going to get Emmanuel Pregno to play the other guard spot. Played a lot of college football at 3 schools, Wyoming, USC, and finally Oregon. He's an older prospect, which there are a lot of old prospects in this draft class. It's an older draft class, I feel like, in general. Well, the NIL era, I guess, but a lot of college football played. A very experienced guy going to step in day one on whatever side of the offensive line they want him to play, opposite Wyatt Teller, and keep C.J. Stroud upright so he does not get what happened from the playoffs last year. He can actually let him actually make his throws.
Yeah, Connor also talked about this for the Texans. Interior defensive line is where I looked at for them. I went with Peter Woods out of Clemson. I think if he falls to 28, that'd be an incredible steal for the Houston Texans. Yes, bless you, Dom. I really think for Houston, though, it's D'Amico Ryans. His defenses are nuts. He can fit Peter Woods right in this system, and I think it's going to be really incredible to watch.
All right, we can go fast with these last four. 29 is the Chiefs again. Unfortunately, this is the pick that they got in the Trent McDuffie trade. This is where I went with their replacement, Now, this is a guy that I debated putting at 26. This is a guy that I debated going higher with because I love him as a prospect. Played at Colorado, played at Tennessee. Colton Hood is a very good corner, and I think he's going to show it at the next level. But as much as I hate to give him such a good corner and Reuben Bain in this first round, it hurts my heart, but he's going to be so good as a Kansas City Chief.
Yeah, I hate Indiana and I hate the Chiefs, so why don't I combine the two together so I can really hate this pick? I went with Omar Cooper Jr. going to the Chiefs.
Oh, that's just dumb.
So I can just ultimately hate it because
Oh.
it's always what you don't want. So this is going to happen.
It is always what you don't want.
Yeah, so this is absolutely going to happen.
Speaking of what you don't want, RJ, she's taking Katie McDonald. Congratulations. More
Yay.
Buckeyes to root
Another
against.
one I can't root for.
That's a Chris Jones replacement long term. Now they have their, as I haven't taken Caleb Downs earlier because of tradition, time honored. The Bengals' best player, the Bengals target's taking one pick before them. I have been getting 2 Ohio State Buckeyes, 1 in the secondary, 1 in the defensive line, and kind of starting the foundation of the next Chiefs defense.
You just put that thought in my head, and I'm just angry.
It hurts.
But, yeah, for the Chiefs, I went edge because I went Mansour DeLane for their other first-round pick. So I went with Cassius Howell to Texas A&M. You're getting younger on that defensive, and you're also joining him with George Karlaftis. I think it'd be really fun to watch.
All right. What's the one thing that you think, if you want to test out a quarterback, we talked about
Keep them upright.
we talked about this with the Browns. No. What's another one? We talked about that, but what's another one?
Give them pass catchers.
Give him weapons.
Okay.
Now, I think this guy has potential to be a premier slot wide receiver
Did we just
in
go
the
to
NFL.
the same weapon here?
Does he have 2 first names? Kevin Conception. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
KC stands for Kevin Conception, by the way, and his name is Kevin. So he's Kevin KC Conception. So it's Kevin Conception.
What?
Yes, KC stands for Kevin Conception.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Kevin Conception.
Kevin Conception.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Kevin.
It's like
Concession,
Drake, May,
concession.
May.
Mad Libs.
It's
Send
like Drake, May.
to the fans. Send us emails of you saying that really fast. Whoever gets it the fastest will get $5.
KCCCC.
KCCCC.
There you go.
Is that who you had
Did you
down?
also pick Kevin Conception?
I did.
That's great, because I did too.
Wow.
Wait a minute.
What?
No
Is
way.
RJ going to ruin the graphic?
Yeah.
Oh, he
Well,
ruined
okay.
it.
Boo.
He
I
caught
have
us.
a reason for this. Miami's cornerback room was so trash
have him going corner
and hurt
earlier?
this past year.
2 corners?
Yes, pretty sure I did.
Yeah, that's
Let me
fair.
double check that. Hold on.
That's fair.
Their cornerback room was terrible. Oh my
Well, I mean, yeah, it was kind of hot garbage.
If I didn't have Colton Hood going to
No,
the
I had
the
them
Chiefs-
going the Penn State guard. So no, I did not have him going to
that
corner.
late. Wow.
No, I had him going at 11.
Oh,
With
okay.
The other first
I was gonna
pick.
say.
No, I have him going to Avion Terrell here at 30. I think that's a steal for him because I would think somebody would trade up for him if he ever falls this low. But honestly, for the cornerback room, was really hurt. The depth was horrible. You have to start somewhere, and you start now in this first round.
Yeah, if I didn't have Colton Hood going to the Chiefs, I probably would have had him going to the Dolphins here. I would have doubled down, taking him and Mansour DeLane. But 31, we've got 2 more picks left. This is the New England Patriots. What was the one thing that we noticed in their playoff run? Who was bad?
Will Campbell.
Will
Will Campbell was really bad.
that we all had from like day one in our initial mock draft last year. Like
Yes, we
we
did.
That was
all
like the one
just
consensus.
We were all like, he's a
Correct.
That
guard.
was our consensus. Yeah, we said he's a guard. And I think he's probably going to be a guard. Who's not going to be a guard? Blake Miller. I think he's going to go to New England because he got sacked almost historically a lot.
The Bostonians will love the offensive line, by the way.
Yes, they will.
Most sack QB in the playoffs.
Most sacked QB in the playoffs.
Over Joe Burrow.
They went to the Super Bowl. That's still crazy. Because Burrow was like on his back like 50% of the games.
Insanity run by the Patriots, by the way. Yeah,
Yeah, if they want to maintain this playoff reputation, they have to sure up that tackle.
and maybe actually beat quality teams. And
Yeah.
have a good tough
give,
schedule.
Just give us your pick.
Yeah, ASU tackle. I'm just gonna call him Max.
Max I.
Max I.
Max I.
Max I.
It's time for a
be respectful.
time-honored John Doucette tradition where I pick a day 2 player on day 1 because I feel like it. Pat, so you're getting Malachi Lawrence out of UCF.
Who?
You want a guy who's going to sack the quarterback? This guy will sack the quarterback. He won't play 3 downs. He cannot defend the run, but boy, can get after the quarterback. I've seen him compared to Josh Sweat, which is the kind of play I think the Patriots kind of use. Just get after the quarterback, hit him right there. This is a guy who will do that out of UCF. Very fast edge rusher, cannot defend the run that well, but it's a getting to the quarterback focus league. So if you can do that at the NFL, you're gonna make some money and be a good player.
This is your Gray Zabel of the year, by the way.
Hey, Grace Sable was a pretty good pick. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
Yeah, that was good. Good shout, honestly, John. Yeah, great. Nice little day 2 propaganda there. I'm going to go with Blake Miller also, tackle out of Clemson. I had him going to New England. That offensive line in the playoff run just looked horrible. Garbage. Drake May could barely do anything because of it, and I think if you actually put Blake Miller at tackle, and if you want to switch Will Campbell over to a guard, probably going to have a lot better chance of keeping him upright.
See, I redeemed myself after the start. I broke the graphic twice in a row to start this. And then after that, we've been agreeing on a couple different things.
There we go.
Everybody's got their redemption arc.
Awesome.
32, the final pick in the first round before we send it off, is the Seattle Seahawks, the reigning Super Bowl champions. Now, I think you're going to know exactly who I'm going to go with this one. They lost a key player this offseason.
K-Walk?
They lost K-Walk.
Okay.
And
Have them going. Ooh.
I have them going with Jadarian Price. I think that's a fun pick. I think the Seattle Seahawks right now are at a point where they're like, all right, maybe we could shore up this position because that two-headed snake backfield really worked for them last year. As much as I hated Zach Charbonnet from a pure football perspective, it worked. It kept K-Walk healthy.
I think it's more of a, yeah.
Plus, Charbonnet's coming off a torn ACL.
Zach Charbonnet is a real group project guy, real pencil pusher.
Pencil pusher.
Maybe they're just scared that he can't do the job by himself. Probably if they did that, that's what I would assume. I went with Keldrick Falk from Auburn. Okay, all right, yeah. They don't really need that many needs. They did
like
win
a
the Super Bowl,
gong.
but I did not. For reference, I did not say a swear word there. FCC, please don't come after me or find me.
That's
Is
a
it
crazy
F-
audio.
is it
We
F-
apologize, audio listeners.
Is
We apologize.
it F-A-U-L-K?
Yeah, Falk.
Right.
FAULK. Yep, that's right. Yep,
It's
that's
like
right.
it's like the word caulk. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Like
All right.
All right, we
Yes.
apologize,
Anyway.
FCC. We tried.
I like Darian Price as the pick right there. I actually think I want to watch Emmett Johnson on Nebraska for them on day 2 or day 3. I like him a lot. I think he'd be a great fit
like
for
that.
Seattle.
That's a good
Watch
one.
that in the later rounds. But
That's a good
whenever
one.
you see a Super Bowl champion, you kind of have to figure out who do they lose in free agency. One of the guys they lost, who is on Connor's team now, is Boye Mafe. They're going to get a guy who can help replace him in that edge rusher room and Keldrick Falk, as Dom had.
I think Emmett Johnson has begun a lot of stock
I
hype.
love him. He has
He
some
got a top
awards for
30
me.
from somebody.
He had some
I forget
awards
who
for
it
me in
was.
the college football part of the year earlier.
Yeah, he's actually really good. I don't have him going first round, but I also went with Connors, Jadarian Price. So we split the room pretty much in a nutshell with this pick. I think really you have to replace K-Walk somehow. You have a running back like Jadarian Price. He was really good. I mean, yes, Jeremiah Love really had a lot of that key hype moments, and everybody looked towards him, but Jadarian Price was sneakily so good, and guess what? Two-back system. You're not changing much there. You have Charbonnet there as well. You have the chance to go luxury pick here. You go Jadarian Price.
plus the two-headed monster backfield is exactly what happened at Notre Dame, and Jadarian Price played exceptionally well in that two-headed monster backfield.
Exactly.
But personally, if 2 Notre Dame running backs go in the first round, you're going to see every single running back prospect visit Notre Dame. It's
Pretty
going to be
much,
it's going to be like the Great Migration. But that's going to do it for us today on Stirring the Pot. We'll be back next week. Yes, we will. We're going to the NFL draft.
Yeah, I
We'll
don't know
record
how
an
we-
episode the day of the NFL draft, and we'll leave that night. Yeah.
That's not how that works.
I have no idea.
Yeah, because we're leaving on Wednesday.
We're leaving on
No,
Wednesday.
he said the night of the draft. Night of the draft is Thursday.
Well, we'll come home and then we'll talk about it.
what?
Not exactly sure what we're going to do.
we don't know yet.
Something
Next
fun.
episode.
Something
Maybe
fun
we
is
should
gonna
do.
happen.
Maybe we should do an expectations video of what we expect at the
Video?
draft. Recorded.
All right,
Audio
have to bring the
recorded.
big boards out.
And
Kickers
then-
and
Honestly,
punters,
yeah.
big board.
We'll give you
Okay.
some A-roll, some B-roll, and
All right,
then we'll do
guys.
some fade, some zoom.
All right, let's
zoom
go.
in.
Let's go over
Tilt
our
and pan.
let's go over our top 15 long snapper prospects. All right,
I bet
We'll
you.
see.
I bet you Dom would like the spy camera.
Andrew Metzger. Oh my God, he would. What the What? No. He'd like Spider Cam.
He'd like an LPS too.
Dom would love what LPS stands
I'm a
for.
big A-roll and B-roll
Um,
guy.
That's basically the Spy Cam.
Yep,
It is
pretty
the
much.
Spy
Yeah.
Cam.
Making packages at factories, you know.
What?
Yeah, I had to email somebody last week to go to a factory. Hopefully they let me in so I can film my package. I need some more B-roll for Dean Dahlia.
All right, thank you guys for listening to this episode of Stirring the Pot. We're gonna get ahead of ourselves on that one. We'll see you guys next week. We don't know what we're gonna talk about, but you guys are gonna listen.